I was 15 years old, driving home from the mall on a rainy day with my learner's permit in hand, and my mom sitting in the passenger seat next to me. 10 and 2 on the wheel, perfect technique if you ask me. I was using my turning signals, everything. I was thinking, why do I have to wait till I'm 16 to get my driver's license? I feel like I'm ready now. I pulled into the driveway, put the car in park, stepped out, successfully wrapping up another trip, maybe did a couple chest slaps. I wish. I actually pulled into the driveway, and when I went to stop, my wet foot slipped off the brake and slammed into the gas pedal. Yeah. Me, my mom, the car, my learner's permit, we go speeding 0 to 60 into the garage. No, we did not safely stop and park in the garage. No, the garage door was not even open. We crash into the garage. Impact. Very literal impact. You know, not long ago, I was sitting in a doctor's office, unrelated to any car accidents or garages, I promise. I'm sitting across the room from my cardiologist. And my mom, next to me, as she always promised to be. And after being shown from room to room, being hooked up to every machine possible, I was being diagnosed with a life-threatening heart condition. The same diagnosis that my mom, next to me, had received the year before. The diagnosis was just echoing in my head. Felt like the doctor and I were each having a conversation with ourselves. She was trying to tell me what the next steps were. All I could hear was my heartbeat. You know, it's funny, as chaotically rhythmed as it was, it seemed to be the only thing with clarity in the moment. I was going to need surgery, a defibrillator implanted in my chest as a means to help keep me alive. And we stood up, and the doctor made her way across the room, gave us each a big hug. My mom and I started wiping away tears from our faces. We walked out of the hospital, through the parking garage, to that same car, and I got in to drive home with my mom next to me. When I think about the most impactful moments in my life, I'm surrounded by impactful people, leaders. These impactful people were the ones that loved me, who showed their heart to me, who genuinely cared for me, and who always found themselves next to me. And I don't know if you're like me, but I made leadership too hard sometimes. I always thought that I needed to be more, like I wasn't enough. I always spent so much time doubting myself if I even had the capacity to lead. Was I missing some talents and traits that other people had? But there's a Vince Lombardi quote that says, leadership is not just one quality, but rather a blend of many qualities. And while no one individually possesses all the needed talents that go into leadership, every man can develop a combination that makes him a great leader. And while I wholeheartedly believe in this quote, I have something to add. All impactful leaders have one common characteristic trait: love. Love ignites impact. Love ignites moments. Love ignites change. And because of that, here's what I've come to believe. Leadership looks a lot like love. I woke up from surgery and a floodgate of emotion just burst open. Guys, I literally think I was crying through anesthesia during surgery, that kind of emotion. I opened my eyes to a good-looking, awkward-feeling nurse at that time who asked, "Are you okay?" And while I was snorting up my snot bubbles, I think I mumbled out, "I swear I'm not a wimp." She then wheeled me up to the hospital room, giving me a smile, a laugh, and a wink. And there was something about that wink that made me feel instantly calm. Like there was magic behind it. Or it was her superpower or something. As I got into the hospital room, my mom took a picture of me to my plea. I wanted it. And I was still drugged up enough to think that the Fonzie thumbs up was still a good look. I must have thought it was cool because I instantly posted it to Facebook and Instagram with the caption reading, Project Iron Man Complete. And I don't know if you're like me, but I grew up with one occupation in mind, be a superhero. No joke, I dreamt of the day where I was running around saving people just like Iron Man. Every Halloween, I was dressed up as a different superhero. I would even find myself wearing a superhero costume because it was a random Thursday. You better believe if I had superpowers, I'd be showing those things off. And that nurse, I wish I could remember her name, guys. She was a hero of mine. She made me realize that we all have one superpower, love. And we can show it off. They kept me in the hospital one more day, even though I spent a majority of my time trying to convince them to let me leave. If it wasn't for the simple fact that I couldn't walk or do anything physically active, I would have been out of there. But the doctor and that nurse finally came in to the room to give us a go. One more hug, one more wink, and I slid from my hospital bed to the wheelchair to the passenger seat of that same car, and my mom drove home next to me. Impact. I can't imagine what my life would look like and feel like and be like if it wasn't for the leaders that were next to me. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be on the stage. I wouldn't be talking to you. And it's funny, I used to think that moments alone changed me and shaped my life. But I'm starting to realize that impact is created by relationships and love. Sometimes leadership looks like a mom getting into a car, hoping that the next mistake isn't as expensive as a garage rebuild or a car repair, but keeping one simple promise: I will always be next to you, and I will always be for you. Sometimes leadership looks like a doctor going out of her way to give a patient a hug, then passionately working in surgery to implant a defibrillator in a 23-year-old's chest that's later going to save his life. Sometimes leadership looks like a nurse asking if you're okay and then giving you a superpower-like wink. Leadership looks like authentically showing up for people and being fully present in the moment, turning compassion into action. We're the ones that get to lead like this because leadership looks like love, not sometimes, all the time.